Welcome everyone. So today we are going to look at some pollinators, so bees and butterflies and some hoverflies, and we're going to learn about what we can do in our own school gardens and our gardens at home to help them. There's lots we can do in our school gardens and our gardens at home for pollinators. We need to provide a lot of different types of flowers. Ideally, we should have flowers from early spring right up until mid-late autumn. Why do we need to do this? Bees and other insects are all declining, and one of the reasons is because there are a lot less flowers than there used to be. In the spring, the queen bumblebee emerges from hibernation, and they are hungry after sleeping all winter. We can provide them with flowers such as crocuses. Bees need both nectar and pollen. Some plants are better at providing nectar than pollen, and some provide more pollen, and some are good at giving both. Think of pollen as protein. It helps the young bee grubs grow. Nectar, on the other hand, is more like glucoside. It gives the bee the energy to fly. We have 20 different bumblebee species here in Ireland, and 5 of them you will commonly find in gardens. These include the common carder bee, the garden bumblebee, the early bumblebee, the white-tailed bee, and the buff-tailed bumblebee. We need pollinators to pollinate our food. This means that the bees visit the plants, and in so doing, they move the pollen from one plant to another. This fertilization means that the plants will provide fruits, so we can eat apples and enjoy pears and strawberries. In the tropics, bees even pollinate cocoa plant, which gives us chocolate. So without bees, we wouldn't have chocolate. Nature also provides pollinators with flowers too. In spring, dandelions are really important, but flowers that grow on trees like willow catkins or whitethorn or appleblossom are all good food for pollinators too. It's not just bees you will see feeding on wildflowers. You will also see butterflies and hoverflies too. Flowers like lady smock are important for orange-tip butterflies because this is the food plant for their caterpillars. Leaving dandelions to flower before we cut our lawns is a great way of leaving food when bumblebees need it most. Leaving areas where the grass can grow tall is important for providing nesting sites for bumblebees. Bees like to nest either underground in old mouse holes or in areas with tall grass. Patches of nettles can be important for butterflies like peacocks and small tortoiseshells because their caterpillars feed on these plants. Native plants like wood anemone, lesser celandine are great places to see hoverflies. Hoverflies are also important pollinators, and they come in all shapes and sizes. There are over 180 different types in Ireland, and many don't even have common names. You can tell a hoverfly from a bumblebee by just looking at its eyes. Hoverflies have big bug eyes. Some hoverflies, though, can look a bit like bees, and some can look like wasps. Areas under trees is a good place to see bumblebees looking for nesting sites. You will see the bee flying close to the ground, sometimes dropping to the ground and inspecting little nooks and crannies to see if there's a good place to start a nest. Honeybees are different to bumblebees because queen and worker bees can survive the winter in a hive, feeding on the honey that they have made over the spring and summer. There can be up to 20,000 worker bees in a colony of honeybees. Bumblebees only make a tiny amount of honey, so only the new queens survive by hibernating. The bumblebee nests have worker bees too, but only a few hundred, not thousands like the honeybees. Honeybees, like bumblebees, need both nectar and pollen. In Ireland, we have only one native honeybee called Apis mellifera. It's darker than other honeybees, and some people think this is an adaptation to our colder weather. What's the message I'd like you to take home today? We need pollinators to pollinate our food. Pollinators need a lot of different types of flower to feed on, both in the spring, summer, right through to early autumn. We can help bees by providing them with flowers in our own gardens, including our school gardens. But we can also help bees and other pollinators by leaving wildflowers to grow or creating new wildflower areas.